right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the broadcast here. The Summit 7 European qualifying action coming at you. And we got our last elimination match to decide which of these two teams will be joining the other three currently in the playoff stage here for the Summit 7 European qualifiers. So looking forward to having a lot of fun with you guys. Hopefully you're having a good day so far. Again, we're getting started a little bit earlier today as a result of this being one of three best of threes. Right now we have Empire and Na'Vi going to be going at it later on. And then Alliance will play the winner of this series in the playoff stage, which then resets to a double elimination format. So again, this is it for these two teams. Either win or go home for these qualifiers. Ultimately, only one of these teams, of course, making it to that $100,000 land, the Summit 7 itself. But I'm excited to be here. Hopefully you guys are ready for a good day of some Dota 2 action. And I know my co-casters, I'm sure. Bright and early here, joined by Z-Rock once again. How's it going, man?
I'm doing fantastic. I woke up like 4 hours ago, wide awake, ready to go, and I was just waiting for this.
Same here, man. So, well, no. I did not wake up 4 hours ago. I mean, I'm drinking my coffee. I woke up more about maybe 45 minutes ago or so. But I'm getting pumped, and as the day goes on, I'm sure it'll get bigger and better. But no, it's an important day, obviously, not only especially for this series, but then some great matchups to follow, man. It's been a lot of Dota, but it's been fun to watch, no doubt. And we got the draft kicking off right here. Batrider Warlock coming out for Prodota. Rubik Lifestealer for Mousesport. So interesting start, I think you could say, to the draft here.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if my Warlock streak with the caster curse gets broken today, because to this day, I did go back through. I have not seen a Warlock win a game that I have casted.
Yeah.
I believe I am 0-11.
I don't believe you.
Yep, that's fair. I've watched games where he's won, just haven't casted them.
Is that true? Like, that
Yes.
seems insane to me.
I dug back through every replay I could find. And
that's crazy.
Yeah, has not been good. Anyway, so Rubik Lifestealer. I love this opening from mouz. We know they play a lot of Rubik. They're very, very good at it. And definitely excited to see what they can come up with here. And if you're pro Dota, I think you have to look to ban Legion, like now. You let it through in the first phase, they didn't grab it. That's fine. I think maybe it is falling off from being a insta first pick hero, but you can't let it through when they already picked Lifestealer. It's just too sketchy. We've seen the explosive potential out of that, and that's what I want to see banned. But it is going to get through. I would not be surprised if mouz grabs it instantly here.
Like you said, it definitely feels like a hero that Skylark, by all means, is comfortable on, and as really any offlaner would be. It's not the most difficult at times, you could argue. But, yeah, great with the Purge effect against Batrider, already against the Warlock to an extent. So he's a great target for Lifesteal to be able to jump inside. No, yeah, this is such an obvious LC pick the more I'm looking at this, too, when it comes down to the option here for Mousesport. So they have their own ban to make right here. But I guess the question is Prodota... I mean, yeah, they wouldn't, right? Because then they would have to maybe run a Batrider middle or something else there. So, yeah, obviously I was getting at would they pick it up themselves, perhaps, to take it away. But
Or was at the Beyond Broken status. Some people played with him as a 4-roll, where you get greedy, go get 2, and just go jungle. But he's just not in that kind of dominant position anymore. So, yeah, it pretty much has to be an offlane bat. So I'm surprised they're not. I mean, the band Nyx, which is definitely one of the better offlaners right now, but I think it's a pretty obvious slip up here. If you're pro Dota, I think you're looking towards TA in this draft, in this round specifically. They don't have any great shred through refraction charges yet, and really pairs well with the lockdown you currently have. It provides the burst you need to get in on a chaotic offering or on a lasso and really get a big kill.
Yeah. That's definitely just a go-to hero in a lot of ways as well as of lately. So just like you're saying how Warlock, I guess, for you as Caster's Curse almost 0-11 according to you seems extreme, but man, that's crazy to hear. But for me, I feel like TA on the other side has been a dominant hero whenever I'm having a cast. I don't have the numbers exactly in front of me, but in general, the hero is pretty ridiculous. I mean, she kind of seems like one of the top ones right now that's on that list of, all right, when's the next patch coming out? Because I think this hero needs maybe some fine-tuning here coming forward. But
yeah, it's the problem with nerfing or buffing TA is she's so meta reliant. Depending on what picks are good, TA is either good or not. Like in the Lesh track time where NA was running a lot of Lesh, TA was pretty garbage. In the Veno era, TA was devalued quite a bit. So I don't know if you necessarily need to nerf the TA specifically. I think just changing what heroes are popular could potentially bring her back. Or kind of kick her out, rather.
I was going to say, so she's definitely back, but yeah, no, it's an interesting, different way to look at it for sure. So and we'll see. You know, I know more and more people have been suggesting, all right, where's our patch, Valve? You know, now that we've had a Kiev Major, there's definitely bound to be one here with TI7 coming up. Get it as soon as possible. LC is the pick. I mean, that was one of the more obvious picks, it feels like, that we definitely could have called out. So, you know, pat on the back, sure, but not really.
Nah, I'm not even taking a pat on the back for that one. It just is what it is, man. But the Lycan, I've enjoyed seeing this come back. We've seen a ton of different builds on this. And the one I'm liking most is where you max Howl, Feral Impulse, you grab an early Armlet, and you just run at stuff. Maybe a Mask of Madness to run at stuff harder. But it's, I mean, it's very one-dimensional, which makes me surprised that it's getting picked up as much as it is.
Yeah.
Like, you either howl to save a teammate at nighttime or you're howling when you're running at stuff. That's pretty much it. It's not super dynamic, but teams are finding good use of it. I've seen Lycan just run Train on a few games.
Yeah, and as you're saying, for the most part, it feels like that idea, the Mask of Madness Armlet, that's the go-to. Now, there was a game yesterday. I was watching some other qualifiers, and actually might have been for Summit. But the point is, it was from the American region there, it's actually SG Esports. They're Lycan built Hand of Midas early on, and then even when something else, God, to go, he did not go the Mask of Madness or the Armlet, basically. It was a Hand of Midas, I want to say, into the, I guess maybe it was even like a Solar Crest, potentially, which isn't like the worst setup definitely to have, but it was definitely somewhat different, but it did feel off. You know, he's not as bulky as a result of going that, and it's just not as combat ready, it feels. You want this hero to be able to get involved earlier the better because of that shapeshift and the presence it brings, and as you mentioned, with a Howl buff on top of that to assist. So
did they win the game?
That was, I want to say, game 2 against Complexity, so yeah, they would have won that, I believe so.
Trying to find it because I'm curious now.
Yeah. Phoenix coming out with the final pick for Mouse Sports after the Lina obviously happens right there. So it's probably going to end up being that mid Lina here in the hands of Thug, of course. And then, yeah, Phoenix to finish. You know, we've been seeing some Phoenixes make appearances here and there, and usually he's one of the first 2 picks, if anything. But Mouse Sports is going to finish with it this time.
Yeah, and it's interesting watching teams toy with this because we've seen a lot of different attempts with Phoenix. And I kind of outlined the different reasons and ways to pick him in prior casts. But in reality, the biggest reason we saw it come up was the Alchemist Tree Phoenix, like, tri-combo out of OG. That was where this all rose to power. That's how it became just this truck that just ran over games. And it hasn't quite had that pop since then. But we've seen some teams starting to get used to where you just pick Phoenix in a high-damage lineup, go egg in the middle, and when they're trying to kill the egg, you kill them. And this is definitely that kind of lineup. You've got Lifestealer, LC, and Lina, all very, very high damage heroes, and could definitely be strong here.
I'm looking at Rubik right here for Mouse Sports and seeing if there's plenty to steal, and there is. I mean, let alone the Warlocks right off the bat, obviously, is a good start. But yeah, across the board, there's definitely some abilities too. So, you know, really, maybe when we see that first pick Rubik, it kind of takes away from the potential. But no, not really. This is a game that he's going to love, actually. It really feels like right here. So, and even on top of that, his null field could definitely potentially be pretty useful against, say, the Warlock and, you know, so on here. Storm Spirit even. So, but overall, I mean, is there a draft we're leaning towards either way as far as seeing now 5 on either side here?
Well, given I got Gabened here and I crashed, give me like 10 seconds to look back over it. I know, right? Actually, I've been surprised. For the last week, it's been pretty stable. All right, so just taking a rough look at the drafts. I mean, I like PD's draft overall. I think it's very dynamic, but I think Mouse has the better draft. Thug is a great Lina. Maybe next time's made some huge Rubik plays. And I think once you get to that mid-game mark, they have good answers to the Storm as well. Lift is one of the better answers in the game because it's almost instant. He can't ever ball lightning out of it if Rubik just blink lifts him. And, you know, once that happens, you either have Light Strike or Area of Duel. So very, very good answers to the Storm Spirit in this game. I like that. Once Rubik eventually gets to a Blink Dagger, I like that. Easy Warlock Golem steal. So I'm going to give the edge slightly here on that side.
Yeah, the Storm Spirit final pick, as you're pointing out, it doesn't seem as strong as it potentially could have been. There was yesterday we were watching Navi, and Dendy ended up getting it was even the first game of their series against Vega Squadron, and it was an insanely good Storm Spirit game to just fly around and not really be too worried about any kind of crowd control. So as a result, you know, he took off, got many Bloodstone charges, and ultimately won the game for his team. And obviously, you know, Navi advancing on right there, but. This time, yeah, not as strong for Prodota. It's a little worried almost for Kaiser here, as solid of a player he is. But as you're getting at, it's definitely going to be somewhat of a difficult time ahead in terms of being
and we kind of have known since this Prodota lineup has existed in its current form, 3-3 has tended to be the playmaker for them. Most notably, his Clockwork games have been exceptional, but he's played a little bat and hasn't done poorly on it. We'll have to see what he can get done because I feel like he's going to be what gets them through this 10 to 20 minute mark. If he gets ahead, he gets some things done, feeds Storm a couple kills, partners with Lycan, and gets some towers, I think they'll be okay. But they really have to start off fairly strong. If 3-3 has a hard lane, I think they're in trouble. This
is not strong for 3-3. Yeah. He has Firefly initially here, but he is in a lot of trouble. Open wound slowing him down, keeping in range. Now, he is going to survive, but he took a lot of damage. He does take the creep wave with him, though, so I guess in that sense, it's kind of working. He's going to TP to the shrine, I'm guessing. Yeah. And he'll just kind of farm over here now. So he delays a creep push. He's going to get a push now into his own tower is the idea.
Yeah, and it's interesting because now he doesn't have Napalm to jungle. So he's really slow. He's just going to try to stack here and then go back to lane and try to get two. The question is, I think he has to hit the shrine. Like, you're way too... Oh, no. He messed up the medium camp stack. Yeah. It's not the end of the world, but... To be honest, mouz could have killed him there, but they didn't think the first blood was worth losing the 2 or 3 creep waves that they would have lost. It's pretty crippling to not be stacking the jungle as the supports and not be getting this first couple waves from Madara.
Yeah, chose not to go for it, so as he said, just focus on that CS, but C33 now back in the lane, and now he has his own pretty massive creep wave pushing forward, so kind of an awkward lane here so far. As far as the positioning and the back and forth. Bottom lane, though, it's a little bit different. Skylark, he hits level 2. He does have that poor man's shield. He's going to pop the shrine pretty early, though, understandably. Let's take some harassment down here. Howl is picked up by Lycan. So, yeah, expecting to see this Howl Feral Impulse build. The idea of the summon wolves earlier on, it seems like that is being passed up and kind of realize that, you know what, it's just not as strong.
Well, I think people are just realizing how strong Howl is. That was the big change to Lycan, and it's an insane defensive tool. During nighttime, 400 spike HP is so good at saving teammates, and then letting them turn off the back of it with the bonus damage. So it's just, I think wolves are still good, it's just not good enough.
Oh man, this timing, now he's going to be able to pop the shrine, so it's almost a little worried for Kaiser, but then, yeah, realize it's only a level 2 LC, so... Maybe not.
Yeah, he's not level 6 with a Blink Blade Mail. And...
yeah, it's a little early on in the game for stuff like that, so manages to pop the shrine, and Kaiser's even going to start jungling a little bit, as he has a stack to work with right here. But Thug, meanwhile, middle lane is having a great time, 12-3, although Stormspirit's slightly ahead, but again, he has been jungling, so maybe that's skewing it somewhat overall.
Slightly.
Just slightly.
He also acknowledges, though, that after he had to go Shrine, Thug's pretty far up in XP. And that's a big thing in this matchup. Yeah. So if you're behind an XP as the Storm, you just get pushed out so hard.
Oh, top lane.
Thug will Q, right-click you.
Yeah, first blood potential coming out right here. Lift back in, 3-3. Now going to fly on top of them. Says, you know what? You want to bring me back in? Burn, baby, burn. And the sticky napalms to assist with that. Maybe next time he's going to be run down by Milan, who lands a snowball and gets the first blood as a result. Now Spartan could be in a lot of trouble. Madara kind of just has to sit from a distance and watch his teammate burn before him as well. So a 2-0 start now for Prodota in their favor. Madara chasing, though, he has opened a wound. It's going to get close enough as a question. 3-3 line of sight causing issue. The fade bullet's not enough, and he's going to be fine for now. But Madara, okay, yeah, he is going to have to turn around, and maybe next time again in some trouble dealing with Tusk, but he is going to get the lift off and should be fine. Milan, he's good, but man, what a turn at the top.
Yeah, it's just a huge rotation. Batrider got a few napalm stacks. They weren't aware the Tusk was going to come, and if you have 2 or 3 napalm stacks on you, Bat presses Firefly. If you can't just run away, you're dead. Tusk preventing that very, very well with the level 2. Now picking up level 3 off that as well.
Yeah, I meant to bring up from the beginning, too, that this is a rematch, actually, of the first round. And this it was a 2-0 win for Prodota in that first round. It was a couple of 40-plus minute games, so it definitely wasn't stomps by any means. Overall, a decent series there, but again, Prodota did have the better of them initially, so waiting to see how this time it shapes up, and this being the elimination match now between these two teams.
Defied.
Yeah.
Prodota for me too has kind of been one of the more impressive teams of this event. Honestly, I know they're here in this elimination match, but they've looked really good, especially for a team that we didn't really know much about.
Yeah, they had to
recently.
make huge roster changes after Mickey and Insania left. Definitely a lot of question marks around this team.
And then you got mouz on the other side. We know all about them, but obviously they've had, say the least, maybe some disappointing success moving forward here. But, again, there's a lot of play to be had, and we're going to get more and more of a clearer idea as far as which teams are rising and which teams are falling over these next couple of weeks.
And this is the exact kind of tournament we want to see for it. It's a tournament everyone wants to go to. This is one that a lot of teams have drive to go to, get to see everyone and hang out down in Cali. Yeah. So get a lot of info on these teams and how they're sitting and stacking up.
Maybe next time
should be okay.
I like how he's in the middle lane, and now Tusk is here still beating on him. So it's like following him around.
All right, so you love upheaval early on Warlock. You've talked about it a few times. This Warlock's being super intelligent. He hasn't had a need for bonds yet, so he's just holding the skill points.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously a solid idea, but I don't know if I necessarily love the idea of upheaval. It's more just an observation I've been making. But I mean, honestly, I can appreciate it because at the same time, I do think it's a strong ability, and the idea it's a massive slow, man. It's kind of one of those as a spectator. It's a little hard to maybe appreciate what it's. But when you're playing against it, all of a sudden your character starts just like walking as if he's in freaking molasses. It's annoying.
Yeah.
It's annoying to deal with.
Yeah, it definitely can be for sure. They have pretty good tools against it though on the side of mouz. Rage obviously just negates it entirely. Lina doesn't really care if she's moving or not, especially if she goes the Bloodstone build. She just wants to stand there and press buttons. So not a ton of like early game effectiveness from it. It's mostly going to be just a way to follow up with Rock and try to keep them pinned down so the Golem can beat on people.
Yeah, and so Lycan, to be fair, going in a shapeshift. And speaking of shapeshift, he's going to the bottom lane. The Ice Shard's initially connecting on a Skylark, blocking him out. One more auto tech snowball in. He wanted that kill. He gets the kill. But now Milan in some trouble. They're going to play committed to this. They better get it. They're not going to. You also see the Frozen Sigil assisting to help him get away.
Thug just miscounted there. He thought he had enough mana for RQ and casted it and was 10 mana short of the Dragon Slave.
Oh, no.
He could have Light Striker Raid right on the end of the Snowball and then Lagooned and absolutely gotten a kill, like without question. But slightly miscalculating his mana is going to miss out on a kill, and that's another one for PD on the board.
Yeah, that's big. That's those minor mistakes. Didn't do the math appropriately.
That's hard, man.
In the moment, yeah. It's math is hard, and hey, Dota's pretty hard too, so it's understandable. Make some mistakes like that, but can't be making those if you want to defeat a team like Prodota.
Oh, this Batrider's lurking in mid lane here. Thug's gonna spot him. They'll go their own way. Does he? He doesn't quite see him.
Nope. He's fine. I wonder what kind of build we're gonna see from the Batrider. We have seen a mix. It's, by the way, Batrider in general. It's just me, or is he kind of coming back again? Like he was out for a while.
He's getting picked a lot. Is he coming back as a solid hero choice? I'm not sure yet. I'm still very, very undecided. But he is getting picked a lot. Teams are playing with him again. And I remember when we were talking 7.0 kind of predictions and how it was going to affect the meta. One of the first things I said is heroes that can jungle are going to get way, way higher value in the off lane. Yeah. And Batrider definitely one of the better options on that. Bottom lane, they are making an initiation here on Garter, sort of.
Well, he pops the Howl, and he's like, yep, you're not going to do nearly enough, so he'll be fine. They don't have the greatest damage between these three heroes right now at this point, so yeah, the fact that he's 1 versus 3 and he didn't even get to Half-Life right there kind of shows that.
Yeah. They just don't have enough CC. When all you have is Rubik Lift right now, like, Duel's online now, but it wasn't at the time. Rubik Lift is not great to keep someone locked down long term. It's more of a one-time thing.
Middle lane, Warlock absorbing some experience, but you know what? He's level 6, and he did choose to get level 2 upheaval, actually. He's passing up Fatal Bonds completely. See, that I'm still a little unsure of, because I understand, again, upheaval I appreciate, but it seems like almost a 1-point value is good enough for earlier on, but
The problem is 1 point is not that much. It ends up being roughly 6% per second they're standing in it, which is not very much. When you max it, it instead goes up something filthy like 20-something percent per second. So I can definitely appreciate it here. If you're going to get it, I say max it.
Okay. Does mean Fatal Bonds will be a little delayed, though.
I kind of like to see something like a 2-2-4 build on a Warlock. 2 points in Bonds gives you 4 targets. That's more than enough. So that if you hit a good rock, you just throw the Bonds and it hits 2 or 3. And then 2 points in Shadow Word kind of will get you through the laning phase. And then you just max the upheaval. But he's totally, yeah, choosing to forego Bonds entirely is definitely surprising. One of the big reasons people are picking this hero.
Yeah, you see he gets the 3rd point in upheaval right there. So, yeah, the 0-3-3-1 build on Warlock coming out.
So I'm curious, we should probably see a smoke out of PD here. They have the Warlock Golem, and they know there's pressure in the spot lane. It's been a try lane for a long time. Smoke Warlock Tusk down there, and then just make a huge turn play on it. That'd be what I'd like to see out of PD here. And they're leeching levels on the Tusk in the offlane, trying to get him a quicker 6. But this is kind of go time. You need to use the Chaotic Offering soon. Okay, so Battle probably be the smoke target with him.
The line, Snowball, he's probably going to die right here. Yeah.
Yeah, keep an eye on bot. They smoked the Bat Rider up. They haven't shown his new Blink Dagger yet.
Yep.
Speaking of super fast Blink, 10 minutes.
Yeah, brown boots, but still, yeah, very effective one at that. And that's what I was going to get at earlier. You know, will we see the Blink earlier? Will we see those the drums earlier on? But signs for the Blink here.
Ooh, this isn't enough damage to kill Skylark, though. No. They need Lycan to actually do it.
It's like maybe
the
if he goes
smoke is almost done.
Yeah, no, they're
smoke's out.
They're gonna go for Rubik instead, and this should be a lot easier. He's gonna land on Napalm initially.
You don't want to rock this though.
True, it's not necessary. Yeah, more than enough damage. Solo Rubik there. So they show off the blink, but they get a kill out of it. And they're going to transition nicely into a middle tower. By the way, how has the middle lane overall been going? Oh, switching over the net worth here.
It's pretty even.
It is pretty even, yeah. Both around that 5,000 net worth mark now.
Yeah, every lane actually is almost dead even. Other than the fact that PD supports have been a lot greedier. That's the huge difference. We're seeing level 6s come online way sooner out of them.
Top tower is under attack.
I like how Tusk has basically transitioned into an off lane. He's kind of just standing ground against Madara right here, who does have his armlet now, but you know he uses Walrus Punch, if anything, defensively. And kind of backs off. So, yeah, he's getting plenty of experience as they do not get the middle tower, though. So, it is enough of a defense from Mousesports here. Scare them off. And a little surprised by that, you know, with the Lycan presence, with that Chaotic Offering ready to go. But I guess they just didn't want to really push the tower, did Prodota.
Yeah, no, they're preparing more for a mid-game fight. This is what they've set up for. The Warlock's going to Midas. They've got a ton of levels on their supports. And they really just want to be as greedy as they can. When you rotate your 4 position to the offlane and you jungle your offlaner, you're just trying to get the most efficiency you can out of the map. They're farming more creep camps than mouz. They're getting more last hits. And they want to build that into an advantage and then look to leverage it all at once.
Yeah.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
You see again, Lycan maxed out Hal now, and it is nighttime, so just tears to that creep wave and puts the pressure onto that bottom tower. But gonna be nighttime for the next 3+ minutes here, so multiple Hals, very double the effectiveness gonna be coming here.
Mouz is on the hunt.
And he's looking for, whoa, what is this about? Garter's actually, Laguna Blade I heard went onto him right there. Here comes the Chaotic Offering though. Supernova going out as well, the Snowball to kind of keep Lycan alive, but it's not gonna matter in the end. And down goes Tusk as well. The support though for PD, they still want to go on, especially Kaiser. He's gonna zap around on the miss of 3 heroes right here. Will it be enough damage though in the end? He is low on mana, honestly, so Stormspear has to be really careful about this Thug. He will pop that magic wand though, and now Stormspear is in a bad position. The Sunray coming out. Down goes Bat Rider. Prodota taking a fight. They were not going to win. The save your teammate syndrome coming into play big time right there.
Yeah, I got the idea of what Kaiser wanted to do there. He saw Rubik lift at the start of that fight. Lift is such a disgustingly long cooldown. He thought he could get in, blow Thug up, and then walk away. But Thug had a very huge wand, got some bottle charges off in it, and was just a little too hard to bring down. And then Rubik lift was back up, and Kaiser's fate was sealed.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Not
attack.
good news for Prodota as far as early momentum goes. Mousesports, they'll take it though, and transition nicely to the bottom lane. Right here, Lifestealer. He's working on that Desolator now. So very nice transition for him. A lot of damage going to be coming out potentially as a result. Middle lane, again, they still want to set up for a defense here and going to be successful. Lina is going for the early Bloodstone.
This will do nicely. Radiant's bottom tower
I'm not gonna
is
lie,
under
that's
attack.
really bad for PD that you committed the rock there and you ended up going 1 for 4.
Yeah.
You brought down Skylark. That was the only saving grace in that whole thing.
Yeah, no, that was a bad fight.
Radiant's bottom
But
tower
a
easy
little bit of
one to play.
recovery here in mid.
Okay.
Link
heroes.
lasso quick for 3-3. Easy kill.
But again, it's another lasso to kill another support. So, yes, you're getting a kill, which is nice, but you can only have so many of those before you really want to catch those cores instead.
I don't mind lasso being used like that early game. The cooldown's really short, and you have chaotic offering for cores. So overall, I'm okay with this in the early game. Your storm doesn't have his bloodstone up yet. Right now, you just want whatever traction you can get, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, I think Thug would be the optimal target,
Radiant's
but you're
bottom
probably not
tower
killing
is
Lifestealer
under
even
attack.
with a lasso, unless Lycan's right there.
Like this frozen sigil use coming out from Tusk. Nice little way to scout out and also harass a little bit as far as the slow goes. But in the end, it is going to be killed off.
Gives a lot of gold, too. It's 100 gold.
Oh, yeah, that is actually quite a bit. It's a 50-second cooldown here on set ability. That does stay static. Top lane Lycan, he's made his way up here, and again, he is going this quote-unquote traditional build on Lycan as of late. The Mask of Madness, now the Armlet coming out. And so once he gets that, pretty bulky target, especially with that Howl. But nighttime is wearing off now, about 20 seconds left. Again, it's not that it's not effective, but it just happens to not be double the
Dire's
effectiveness.
top
So.
tower is under attack.
But they're going to push top lane here. Try
Yeah,
to, at
smoke's
least.
coming in here quick from mouz.
Wow, maybe next time's like Storm or Ball Lightning. I like this ability. Goes in, and they're going to get the pick off on a Warlock to start things off, so no chaotic offering threat. Can they get more out of this now? He does have a buyback if they commit way too deep right here, but doesn't seem like that's going to be the case.
Radiant's
Early in the
top
game,
tower
Ball Lightning
under
is such an
attack.
easy steal for Rubik. Later on, Storm's going to have enough mana that he can like Q during the Ball Lightning, which is going to give us Static Remnant instead. But early on, you just don't have the mana. So Rubik's going to have Ball Lightning pretty much whenever he wants it for the first 20 minutes or so of this game. And really strong initiation tool,
Yeah.
as we just saw.
Yeah, the fact that gives him the presence to be able to go in and lift up, set up a target for the kill.
Dire's
That
bottom
seems like a
tower
very
is under
effective
attack.
choice to be taken earlier on in this game. So again, he's going to have plenty of options, including that Warlock Chaotic Offering. Got to be really careful about that as well. Try to hide that if you're Warlock here, but it's a lot easier said
It's
than
almost
done.
impossible. Yeah, if you don't actually stun the Rubik, you can't cover that spell. The cast is just too slow on it. But PD now with the smoke up themselves, Lasso's back up, Chaotic Offering is up. So going to be looking for a Blink Initiation, and they're going to try to find Skylark here, who has the Lifestealer in him. So if they find this could be huge for PD.
Lycan popped the Howl here initially. LC, he went the direction of where they were smoked up, so he's going to get caught himself. He pops the press the
Madara's
attack,
stuck
though.
in charge.
Here comes a Lacuna plate as well. Yeah, Madara's trying to get out over here. He is still having trouble moving around. Thug, meanwhile, being run down by Kaiser now as a Ball Lightning in. LC will be picked up in the back lines, and Thug actually denies himself when it's all said and done, but that was so unfortunate. What was he stuck with, you're saying? Was it the trees?
So the shards basically boxed him into the tree line.
Oh.
So he only had trees above him and shards below him, and he couldn't get out of it. That was... I'm going to say that was intentional. At least the idea was there to box him in a little bit, but I don't think Milan knew it was going to work that well.
Yeah.
Like, Lifestealer was stuck in that the entire 7 seconds of shards, and wow. I thought with how fast Thug rotated, maybe they could turn that back. He got there quick, got a good Laguna off, but
Dire's top
just
tower
not
is
enough
under attack.
Yeah.
without Lifestealer.
Lifestealer deals plenty of damage with that Desolator especially. Meanwhile, maybe next time he flies in with the Ball Lightning, lifts up Bat Rider, and should set up even the first victory for LC right here. So they do get it. Madara gonna infest actually one of the creeps offensively right there. Thug, he ducks the snowball and the Walrus Punch, but they're gonna kill on it. Tusk, but now Thug, he is melting away. The Sunray coming up to heal him up, and now Garner's actually in some trouble right here. Takes a Laguna Blade in the face. They do get the kill to Lena, but at what cost as they lose the Lycan? It's a 4-for-1 in favor of mouz, and they're going for the middle tier tower now.
Yeah, that one was...
Radiant's
So,
middle tower
PD,
is
it's not
under
quite like
attack.
save your teammate syndrome. It's, yeah, we lost one, but we think we can still win the fight.
Radiant's middle
Kaiser has
tower
burned
has
half of his
fallen.
mana or more, diving in on Thug multiple times, and they just can't quite bring him down. Legion's been very quick on press the attacks to purge off the Electric Vortex, and Sunray is doing so much work in these fights to keep Lena alive. Like, Thug is just not dying when Kaiser goes on him.
Yeah, the decision making here of Prodota definitely seems a little off at times. Gonna need to fine tune that here. As far as moving forward. I know it's it is early for us, and being European players, it's what 3
It's still
p.m.
early for them in gamer
2
time, right?
p.m.
It's
even
like
the afternoon. It's
yeah. This is a morning match for most of these
this
guys.
Is, for gamers, for competitive players, yeah, this is early, man. So
what team was it? It was Onyx. Well, it was the old iteration of Onyx, the one that like PPD tried to do for a little while with Dubu and them. I don't remember what they called it, but when that lineup was going, they wanted to scrim at like 11 a.m. and everyone was like, "What? We're not up that early." So they'd start scrimming Euros, and they were scrimming Euros from US West, and it was like the worst thing ever for them. But yeah, they're the only team that I know of outside of like the Korean scene that scrims at a relatively normal time, like for normal people.
Yeah, talk about some interesting roster changes, to say the least, man. That's been going on. You mentioned Onyx there, and that kind of, what do you think about the whole Demon situation? Leaving the team, or I guess getting cut technically, and now he's playing for Complexity, possibly standing there.
Yeah, I mean, all right. Can we all kind of agree? Complexity is at the point where they're flailing. Kyle just wants to have a team of 5 that he can play with consistently, and he's struggling so much to find a group that clicks. And yeah, I feel kind of bad for him more than anyone in this situation, because he tried some newer players. With the last iteration, he was on stream. I think he said he doesn't want any more projects. So Demon could be a good fit for them, honestly. Somebody who's already got competitive experience. You don't need to build them from the ground up.
He's good.
Yeah, maybe not. What's that?
Well, I was going to say he's good in that sense as far as the play goes, but I'm a little concerned about the attitude,
personality
clashing. Yeah. But as you said, I mean, they're desperate. Like there's not like the most obvious options out there necessarily, and they have to form some kind of team.
Well, you're under the gun right now for TI. Like you got to get a roster going. This is the time you have to scrim, because qualifiers are going to be coming up probably mid next month.
Yeah.
So you really got to get stuff ironed out. Get a couple weeks to scrim.
Well, the whole roster lock in the first place, it's 24th.
True.
That's what you have to.
I think it's pretty safe to say that Complexity's. I mean, they'll get a direct invite to the NA qualifier, but I think Valve's been bending their rules a little bit on that for close qualifiers, especially in NA. We just don't have enough teams.
That's a fair.
Although, yeah, it'll depend if they do an SA slot again. I'm assuming they will after SG, but.
Well, discussion for another time, perhaps. But back to this game.
We are back in the game. Pause is over. So the Bloodstone down to 6 charges already. He denied himself the first time, died again. Doug's Bloodstone is suffering.
Yeah, it's I mean, to be fair, both kind of are. Storm Spirit's down to 10 now. After that previous fight, he too did deny himself actually. So
going for the aggro Roshan here from mouz. I like it a lot. It's a little brave with Chaotic offering up, but this ward that they have in their own jungle actually showed the Warlock at first. Yeah, Storm is now, Kaiser's saying, hey, there, Rosh, go, 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 but Warlock just ported bottom. So they're going to have to give this up.
Man, that's going to be big for mouz again. Lifestealer picks up the HS, and he's going to head towards the top lane now as they do see Tusk pushing it in. Tusk has been doing a lot of solo play here. He's going to regret this, though. Yeah, I don't know what the game plan was there. He knew they just did Roshan. Like, I thought for sure he was just going to go in the woods and just TP immediately after that, if anything. But he got greedy, stuck around, tried to push a little bit further, and Milan ends up getting picked off. So.
And it should be, I'm assuming we're going to see the 50 damage talent come out of Lina. Teams seem to be starting to go back towards favoring that, which I like a little better. I think the respawn time, yeah, it has purpose. I can understand it. He does go the respawn time.
As you say,
but the problem with that is, unless you have bots already up and you're fully like ready to fight as soon as you res, I don't think you get a lot of value out of it. The 30-second respawn time is most effective from right now when he gets it till like 30-ish minutes when he's like level 20. After that, the value of it drops off quite a bit because your death timer is still too long.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have boots to travel. He doesn't have a blink dagger or any Shadow Blade repositioning ability. So we'll see what they can do with it here.
I've always been so hesitant, as kind of fun as it is, that on a core especially, the idea, now obviously we had the whole Lone Druid situation with his respawn time and how powerful that proved to be, but You know, even then itself, that was a level 20 talent. But the point I'm getting to, the idea of a talent that encourages you dying almost, you know, with the respawn time. Like on a support, I get that because it's inevitably going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
But on a core, you shouldn't be playing with the mindset, you know what, if I die, I'll just be up quickly anyways. Passing up 50 damage, 50 raw damage for that set ability, it just seems like, it seems a little silly as far as the mentality goes, right? Like, shouldn't be wanting to die.
Like, the problem is talent choices aren't something you make on the fly. You need to know going into draft, we want this hero with these talents for this specific reason. And if they want to go this minus 30-second respawn, then Thug needs to be the lasso target, like, every time.
Yeah.
He needs to be sieging towers. He needs to be the one in front, eating the lassos and getting right back in the fight. Laguna committed on Storm without enough damage.
Yeah.
Oh, they do get him.
That Sunray was doing just enough from the outskirts. I don't even know if it was honestly hitting initially. I think it was like
no, I think
just
he had
out
to
of
like
range.
drift into it. Yeah. And if you ever watch Phoenix move during Sunray, it's like this floating, drifting bird. It's really weird looking.
It seems a little silly, yeah.
Dire's
But
top
nice
That's
pick
gonna be a
up
tier
there.
3 though. They're looking to siege this tower down.
is under attack.
Sunray's coming out to heal
Radiant
Madara.
structures are fortified.
But
And Skylark's just
back
waiting to
up.
purge the lasso.
Yeah.
That's all he wants to do right now.
He's close enough. Yes, he is. There we go. As you said. Right on cue. Lycan runs in, but it's just there for the threat. Nothing more. And they'll easily fall back and kind of retreat. And if anything, they might just reset. And they're going to know Shapeshift's now down on Lycan. So he's and Lycan definitely is a different hero without Shapeshift. Like, he's not nearly as intimidating.
Yeah,
that
he
ability.
kind of goes to almost a super support status. Oh, wow,
They catch
huge
the Warlock,
duel.
by the way. The snowball comes out. Is this going to buy enough time for Chaotic Offering? No, it's not. He's still locked down. 40 seconds left for. And yeah, that was the LSA follow-up, it sounded like. Coming out of the snowball right there. They're going deep. They want to finish this game right now, even if they can. They're at least going to get the racks. And we'll see if they transition even to the middle lane. Oh, and they do have the secondary tower up. Okay, yeah. So they're really deep right now. And you know what? They're still staying around, actually.
Please, you've done this before, adfinem/mouz. Please just back up. Okay. Yeah. They, huge advantage. 25-minute racks coming out here from mouz. That's a huge lead in this game.
Yeah.
And in reality, like, you cannot be in a position to get dueled like that if you're Warlock. There's just no reason to be.
Well, he does. Obviously, a massive victory for mouz as a result of that. I also noticed Rubik, he stole Howl at the end of that. And that's honestly another ability that's going to be pretty solid going forward right here for the Rubik and to benefit from all across the board. So that's another reason why mouz is just ahead right now, even in this game. Lycan is okay. He is going to go the BKB. I was going to say, is he maybe at least going to have that soon? So he does just about have it at least.
Yeah, he wants to eventually get BKB Solar Crest, just so when he gets dueled, he hopefully gets the BKB off first, then is pretty much unkillable. But I'm liking this build from Madara. Going the AC right after the Deso and has a heart queued up. He's going to just be so hard for PD to bring down.
Radiant's middle tower has
Pinging out the
fallen.
back lines, but again, Madara with the positioning of his teammates, they really can't get the jump, can Prodota, the effective one at that. They don't just want to go all out on Lifestealer, of course.
Stupendous.
He does drop the Aegis there, more so that it gets reclaimed even, but they're just going to back off perfect timing and clean up the resources of Prodota. So getting further ahead now, over a 10,000 net worth lead, about a 5,000 experience lead or so, and the AC on Lifestealer, pretty ridiculous. Has a heart now even queued up. It's going to go massive tank here, apparently.
Yeah, I love it. The sustained damage is not very good out of PD. And if he can just survive getting golemed or getting lassoed, then what do they do? Like, Madara understands the position they're in and is just going an unkillable build. Milana maybe gets dueled here? Okay.
Oof. Luckily he has his own blink, so Tusk will be fine, but yep, that was a very close call for him. So Orchid being worked on by Kaiser. He does have the second Oblivion Staff, so the pattern just about there. Another key item, you could say, but is it a...
Yeah, but who's like your key go target? Like, sure, you can go on Lena, it's going to get press the attack. If you go on anyone, it's going to get press the attack. And at that point, it just feels weak. Like, I don't think getting the Orchid's going to open up any kill potential for him necessarily.
Yeah.
The smoke, though, this is like, the last shot on a PD.
Radiant's top
They need to
tower
catch a
is
good
under attack.
grab here.
Got her. Pops a Howl. Here we go.
That's
They're trying to
not
get
what you
Spartan,
want.
but he's like, all right, Icarus time. I'll be fine. And Swordspear going really deep for this, but he's not even going to get it. And now it's a pretty scattered fight. There's the lasso. It catches actually LC, the prime target. You could argue the chaotic offering coming as well. The supernova in the midst of it will get off right there, but they had spread out pretty far. The shapeshift activated, and they're able to chase down the Rubik as a result of that. Now Thug's trying to run away. The Sunray in the midst of it, though. They get the turn kill on a Tusk, but Lina is picked off. She is going to come up very quickly, though, so be careful about overcommitting right here. Skylark, he runs away and survives. And actually, Prodota, I mean, that went pretty good considering the start was a little awkward there.
It went great. I mean, that went absolutely fantastic for them, given the situation. And it was all in the bat. He got in, he got a huge lasso on Lifestealer, pulled him to an awkward spot away from the team, and split the fight up in a way that worked out extremely well.
Oh, I thought he actually got LC. I guess I saw that, so you got the...
Maybe there was a lot of fire on the ground. I just know he grabbed someone, everyone else went up.
Okay.
Coming out with 2 kills for just the Tusk. Yeah, you burned all your cooldowns, though, and that's the problem. mouz knows this, and they're ready to keep pushing.
Exactly. Even Shapeshift is still down for another 20 seconds. The BKB on top of that, so it'll line up pretty well. But in the meantime, you're going to lose a tier 3. And that'll be the end of it. But, yeah, mouz capitalizing on said ability to speak down. This
is the difference between low cooldown drafts and high cooldown drafts. If you're picking something that relies on R buttons to fight, one strategy at like 40-50 minutes can be to go lose the fight if you're the low cooldown team, snap buyback and go right for a tier 3. And this kind of situation just presented itself. They didn't quite get enough kills for PD to stop the push. While they got 2, one was the Lina, who instantly respawned because of the respawn timer, Bloodstone, and Boots of Travel. And the other one was a support. I think it was Rubik that died. So not the targets you need to stop the push.
Oh, they're going to jump into Spartan right here. The lasso, it hits Phoenix. Maybe not the prime target, but they will get the kill. Live in the background. A Legion Commander. He's caught in those ice shards, though. I believe those ice shards also have Rubik that were stolen right there. And Batrider is picked off, so a 1-for-1 exchange. Skylark, he's being caught on once again. The Shapeshift and Kaiser committing forward. He is out of mana, though. His Stormspree has to be careful about that. Buyback coming up from LC. Look where he's blocked. Yeah, those ice shards. Stolen by Rubik, doing a lot of work. And now the duel on a Warlock to get a victory out of that, right into the Roshan.
Roshan with the execute on 3-3 there. They had maybe 3 Roshan autos left, and Roshan just crushed him trying to fly out of the pit. It's great.
And that's an Aegis now for... Looks like it's going to be picked up by Lifestealer. Yeah, I mean, you brought up a good point, actually, Lina. I mean, that's an example of where the respawn is actually pretty damn good on Lina, to be fair. And
yeah, they're using it very well.
Yeah.
They're positioning Thug in a dangerous position, and that's exactly what they need to do.
Again, you're going up against a high cooldown team, especially with that Warlock Golem, so sure, she dies, but she's up in 5 seconds, if that, and coming right back into the fight. So that's a quick reset herself. The melee racks, they're going to use a fortification, but can they really stop this?
Offering and last power up.
That's
I mean, if you're not going to go now, when are you going to go?
Well, now is the call. They go on a Spartan in the backlines, but the Supernova is popped. They have to spread out from that. They want to try to kill it. That's not going to happen, though. They're pulled in. Now, Lycan, he has the BKB up, though. But, oh, he takes a good chunk of damage right there. And now he's going to go after Rubik. He will two-shot him, essentially, and is able to run out that upheaval. As we mentioned earlier, it is doing some work, as you can see. Slowing them down pretty massively there.
But you lost.
Yes. There is that part, though. Yeah, it's probably over here. Seems like mouz Sports just really trying to close it out now. Here at game number 1. Batrider going to be picked off. He's dead for 50, and there we go. GG is called. It's official. mouz Sports taking game 1 here in this best out of 3.
Wow. So, Warlock's streak of hemorrhaging games continues for me. In reality, a lot of the games have actually been Warlock Tusk that I've seen lose. So you could say maybe Tusk is the issue in the whole thing, but in reality, it's just PD had such a good start overall. As far as getting levels on the supports, the Warlock hit 6, Rubik was still 4, and just couldn't turn it into anything. That first chaotic offering resulting in a 4-for-1 against them really just spelled out how the rest of that game was going to go.
It absolutely did, and you see Madara there, 6-0-8. The bulky build that he went, the earlier on AC, into then the Reaver he had, and we saw that he was going to be going the Heart eventually, but wasn't even necessary at that point. Just too much done by mouz Sports as a team, and yeah, you're right. It's just that one early fight that they got turned on using longer cooldowns for, and they just had trouble recovering from there. So, yeah, I really am going to, now that you've mentioned this, I really am going to keep an eye on this whole Warlock thing now while you're co-casting with me, because that is something that we have another loss right here. So
Yeah.
maybe we should start informing teams that you're casting that.
Yeah, just don't pick it when I'm casting. Well, and I think part of it might be a trickle-down effect, right? A lot of the meta is defined by what happens at majors and what happens in key games. And I think the best of the best teams can tend to play a more slow, controlled style, and the game tends to resolve itself more around big objectives and team fights, where Warlock definitely shines, where you're taking these big Roche fights that are 5v5s and he rock bonds as 5 people. But in these, I don't want to say necessarily like tier 2 teams, but the teams that aren't, the 1-2s of their region, definitely a bit of a different game plan, different game style in general. And so I think that may have something to do with it, that the fights are just a little more chaotic. There's a lot more pickoffs, and Warlock definitely struggles in those situations.
Yeah. Well, guys, game number 1 out of the way. We'll see if they make it a 2-0 or if Prodota will at least be able to force that third and final game. And once again, what is in an elimination match here? So, Breaking CPK joined by Z-Rock. Stay tuned, guys. We got game number 2. Summit 7 European qualifiers coming up next.